welcome to Live in the Solution. I'm your astrologer and tarot card reader, Mary Trimble, here with your readings for December the 9th through the 15th. What an incredible celestial sky we have this week. A lot is going on, but that's for the astrological report. So if you're new, welcome. I really hope you enjoy these readings and that you will return. And if you are returning, thank you so much for your loyalty, support, and love. Now, these readings are for the collective, guys. So take what resonates and leave the rest. And if you would like a more tailored, in-depth personal reading, then click on this link here and that will take you to my website and you can take a look at the kind of readings that I offer. Now, these readings are for your sun, moon, and rising. So if you know your sun, moon, and rising, then check out the other readings. All the links will be in the description box below. It'll say show more. You click on that, or if it's on a telephone, it'll have a little arrow pointing down, and that will open up the links to everything. I have a Facebook group, guys, and every 2 weeks I do a live feed in that group, which correlates with the new moon or the full moon. It is a private group, so you just have to click on the link below and request to join, and you'll just have a couple of questions that you have to ask. That's it. So yeah, well, whoever shows up for the live feed, then I look at the horoscopes and their sign and see how you are receiving the energy from the new or the full moon, respectively. So I'll be doing one this week coming up for this full moon in Gemini. So we have lots of fun there. It's really cool. Now, another way to support this channel, other than likes and shares and comments, which I really appreciate, guys, check out my Patreon page right here. I post things on there that I don't post anywhere else, or sometimes I preview them there before I make them public. So you can support me for as little as $1 a month, which is what, $12 a year, which is not a lot, but it's a lot for me. I can do a lot with that. And if you can't, that's fine. Just like, share, comment, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Lastly, these readings come in 3 sections. There's this section, which is the intro. Then there is the astrology report. And then after that is the tarot reading. I have the skip stamp times for each section below, right above, directly above all the links to the other videos. Sometimes that will be there straight away, but sometimes it takes me a minute to get all the links up. So bear with me. I have to upload all the videos first, and then I can put in all the links. So guys, without further ado, let's go to the astrology report, shall we? Hello and welcome to the astrology report section of your reading for December the 9th through the 15th. So gosh, there's so much going on. We start off with Monday, the 9th of December. Mercury moves into Sagittarius. It's going to feel like a breath of fresh air because Mercury has been in Scorpio since October the 3rd. You know, it's been there for over 2 months because of the retrograde. You know, it was just about to come out and then it went retrograde. So it has been a very long journey. And it's in Scorpio, we had to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves, you know, and some of us are still shaken up by that, by those revelations. We will go from these deep, intense and detailed oriented thoughts and conversations to the bigger picture, a little bit more scattered and perhaps saying things without much foresight. So we can kind of, you know, there's very little filter between thought and mouth. It's just it just comes out. Mercury moving into Sagittarius is going to lighten the mood. We'll feel lighter, we'll feel more optimistic and more joyous. When Mercury is in Sagittarius, our thinking shifts from this need to dig deep into any given situation or topic to the desire to learn about everything. It's like we want to know everything. We want to learn. So we see this, we want to learn about it. We see that, we want to learn about it. We're like excited about deepening our education or knowledge. So our thinking becomes more optimistic, our faith becomes stronger and increases, and we are more idealistic. We're more concerned with what is fair and what is not. But under this influence, with Mercury in Sagittarius, we may not always make the right choices. Now, Mercury and Sagittarius don't exactly get along. Mercury represents our thought process and intellect, communication, whereas Sagittarius can jump to conclusions, seldom listens, and can be a bit impulsive. This transit can be challenging when it comes to communicating with others. We may be more optimistic and joyful, but we also have a tendency to make decisions based on assumptions, which can cause catastrophic errors in judgment. So be aware of this tendency and slow down. Resist the urge to make decisions before talking it over with trusted friends or family members. Remember, don't assume anything until you have all the facts. Resist the urge to jump to conclusions. Now, Wednesday, December the 11th, Venus conjuncts Saturn in the early hours of the morning. This aspect is challenging for love and finance. Your relationships could go through a lack of connection or lack of emotion. A stable relationship can weather this storm, but if your relationship is on rocky ground or unstable legs, it may not survive. If you meet under this influence, there could be a significant age difference and probably will be based on practical considerations rather than a partnership rather than a love match. This transit can also affect your finances and you could find yourself strapped for cash. So planning ahead might be prudent at this time so that you won't be in this predicament again in the future. Now, Thursday, December the 12th, we have the full moon in Gemini at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's talk about the significance of the number 1212, 1212. This is the 12th month, and on the 12th day, we have the full moon at 12:12. How crazy is that? Well, this is a very significant number in numerology. It represents the highest vibration. It's a connection to the higher self or the light body, spirit guides, and it's the ascended master's frequency. So if you keep seeing this number, like I have been seeing this number a lot over the last few months, particularly, it's more and more frequent for me. You are connecting to that light, or you're being urged to connect to it. It's the new earth awakening vibration. It's that frequency. It's very high. So this is an incredible opportunity. It's almost like a portal has opened up for this, because so this is about change. So not only do we have this full moon, and as most of you know, the full moon is when the sun and the moon are opposite each other. It's actually the sun's light that illuminates the moon. It's the sun feeding the moon, if you like. So the moon is in Gemini and the sun is in Sagittarius. And full moons are about culminations and endings, crescendo coming to, it's change, right? It's endings and beginnings. Gemini is about the intellect. It's about the thought process, the spoken and the written word. It's about books and about learning, right? While Sagittarius is about spirituality, adventure, and higher learning. It's kind of a higher octave of learning. And it's about optimism. Now, at the same time as this full moon, there is a T-square, what we call in astrology a T-square. And that T-square is to Neptune. So that means that Neptune is square to both the sun and the moon. This is a challenging aspect, right? Squares are tension, and they're kind of motivating, if you will. Now, the lowest octave of this energy is the monkey brain, right? That's what will be highlighted, what we call in meditation the monkey brain. It is that unconscious chatter in the background that's constantly going, that's there all the time, and perhaps sometimes we're not conscious half the time. Some of us aren't conscious of it at all, but some of us are awakening and hearing that voice in the back of our heads that is saying, you're not good enough, you'll never do it, you're too old, you're too young, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too ugly, you're too dumb, you'll never make it. Oh, look, see, there you go. You've done it again. It's that kind of energy. And it's that. So the antidote to that is meditation. Meditation quietens the monkey brain. So listen, we may be too idealistic or perhaps even deceptive. That's the lower octave of it. We may be overly sensitive and we may take things personally. This full moon will shed a light on the truth and will bring something from the unconscious into the conscious. Maybe make us aware of what we're thinking and how we feel about ourselves, or how we're allowing this monkey brain to dictate how we feel about ourselves, right? Now, meditation, I always say this, if you've watched me before, meditation isn't about controlling your mind, but it's about not allowing your mind to control you, not dictating our actions according to our monkey brain. The higher octave of this energy is that we connect to higher energies, to that light, that 1-2-1-2 frequency, right? Because the veil between the worlds with Neptune at play becomes very thin. So we are able to communicate with spirit in the ethereal realm. It will empathize with the suffering and the plight of the less fortunate around the world. And it's imperative that we conduct ourselves with honesty, kindness, and integrity, and that we keep a positive mindset. It's like visualize the manifestation of your dreams and wishes, practice that. The energy surrounding us right now is really fast and furious. All the planets are traveling direct and they're picking up speed. So they are going full force. It's like we're on the express train to 2020. So we are manifesting our beliefs at an incredible speed. So it's really important to make sure that you are in the I can and will mindset as opposed to I can't or won't attitude. Now, I haven't finished, guys. There's more. On Friday, December the 13th, Mars trines Neptune. Now, with Mars trining Neptune, your sensitivity and creativity is stimulated. It creates a magnetic, attractive, and sensual charm. which is ideal for romance, you know, inspires a spiritual connection with romantic partners, whether you're in one or you're meeting one. It feels so right. This aspect can also spur an urge to stand up for the underdog or a human rights cause. Anything that you feel is unjust, it's like you will be moved by that. Although this isn't an aggressive energy, it will give you the courage to fight for the rights of people, animals, or the environment based on moral and ethical values. It's very idealistic, but very action oriented. So you want to get up, you want to stand up, you want to do something tangible for what's going on in the world. Well, we're seeing it around the world. People are getting more and more involved in protests. Look what's going on in Hong Kong. Anyway, so also on that day, Venus is conjunct Pluto a couple of hours later, right? What is it? 4 hours later or 3 hours later. So you're going to feel this is kind of energy that's around now. This brings a need. It brings in the need for a deeper and more meaningful connection with your partner, or indeed, if you're single, the longing to fall in love. The desire is so strong that you may manipulate others, even engage in atrocious behavior like stalking or spying on your lover or partner, going through their emails or their phone or their bags or their coat pockets and things like that, and surreptitiously. It's not good. Spying on people, tracking their phones and their computers and things like that. It's really not okay to spy on anyone. It's not. It will actually create the opposite of what you desire. It will push someone away because everyone inevitably gets caught doing that kind of stuff eventually. So it's important to resist the urge to control and allow things to play out, even if the result is not what not to your liking, because karma is attached to this energy, and we must play it with honesty and integrity. We must, come from a higher perspective or a higher energy. If you meet someone during this transit, you could jump in over your head and become infatuated or even obsessed, which can spur the behavior I've just highlighted, So take it slow. Keep your friends in the loop and confess the temptation to manipulate or do anything that's kind of nefarious or underhanded or sneaky, so that they can talk you out of it. Now we move on to December the 15th, Jupiter trine Uranus in the afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a wonderful energy, guys. Fabulous surprises and wonderful opportunities could pop up out of the blue. Small miracles kind of thing, that kind of thing. It's like, oh, wow. Serendipity encounters with influential people can happen. It's a time to take risks, actually, and push the boundaries, of how far you can go in a good way. It's a lucky day. Actually, it lasts for more than a few days, but it's the most intense on Sunday because that's when the aspect is exact. So what a lovely day to end the week on. So without further ado, let's go to your tarot card reading, shall we? Hello, Libra, and welcome to your reading, the tarot card section of your reading for December the 9th through the 15th. This is for Libra. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Libra for this coming week? Three cards for Libra, please. Three. There's one. two more cards. There's two. One more card for Libra, please. There it is. Okay, there's crossover here, guys, already. And now we are going to the clarifying cards for you, Libra. Okay. These are clarifying cards for Libra. Wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information. Can you give Libra through these clarifying cards for the week of December the 9th through the 15th? Please clarify. There it is. Please clarify. Two cards came out there, and please clarify. There it is. Okay. Let's take a look at your cards, Libra. Just, there you go. Okay, so the first card out for you is the King of Swords, clarified by the Six of Pentacles. Then you have the Seven of Cups, clarified by the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. Then you have the World, clarified by the Nine of Swords. The first card out for you, Libra, is the King of Swords. This reminds me of the Justice card. It reminds me of the balance. He's like a judge, you know. He's very cerebral, incredibly intelligent. He's very fair. He makes very just and fair judgments. And look, if you have any litigation, Libra, or there's any kind of arbitrary decision coming down the pike, I mean, it can, you know, it can mean, are you getting a job? You're getting the apartment, the house, you know, is the adoption whatever it is, you know, any kind of thing that you are waiting to hear from someone, you know, like, are you getting a job? You know, did you get the job? I feel that it's going to come down in your favor. The King of Swords is very much like the Judgment card. So if this is also about the truth, and it's karmic, right? So it's very important to be extremely honest, with integrity, upfront. Keep your side of no shortcuts. Keep your side of the street clean. Don't be tempted to do anything even slightly nefarious. And it will go in your direction. This is like the Service card. So I feel that this is really coming down on your side. Things are going to change for you in a very positive light. I think that this is definitely coming down for you, but you must, as long as you have been honest, as long as you aren't doing anything, as long as everything's above board, let's put it this way. And I would focus on really putting the collective, the higher good for everyone, not just you, but everyone, Libra. Well, you know, I think that that's very, I think that's pretty easy for you to do. Now, you have the Seven of Cups here, and the Seven of Cups is like some confusion. It's like not knowing, you know, this can be, Neptune is playing a big role this week. So it can be having so much to choose from, or there's something that you need to take care of and you really don't know which direction to go. You don't even know where to begin. It's that kind of thing. So it's a situation where you're not doing anything or taking any actions because you're immobile, because you don't know how to handle the situation that you're in or what to do about it. It's that kind of thing. Well, you have two cards clarifying this, and one is the Queen of Wands, and she's saying, don't underestimate yourself. This is about confidence. Have the confidence. You can do this. She's telling you, you can do this. You can make this choice. You know what to do next. It's like, just, be quiet for a moment, and then, when you stop worrying about not being able to make the decision, you will then feel confident enough to move forward. And move forward you must, because you have the Green Knight, the Knight of Pentacles. He's all about being grounded. He's about making strategic moves. Nights are always about movement. So it is moving forward, but it's take your time. You don't have to rush. It's not important to make this decision rashly. It's about weighing all the pros and cons. It's about surveying the land or the terrain. It's about planning. This is about planning. So, listen, have confidence in yourself. You don't underestimate yourself. You can make this happen, and you can plan. And I've got that whole thing. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? You've all heard that before, I'm sure. So this is very important for you to plan your next move. Make strategic and methodical moves. You don't have to rush. Be the tortoise, not the hare. And you'll get there. And the next card out is the World. And this is like, whatever is on the table for you, this is an opportunity to really move forward in a totally new direction. It's like you can continue to do the same old things and get the same old results. But if you want things to change and be better, then you need to do something differently. And the World is telling you the universe has your back. You will be supported in this move. It's a good time to make a move, to make a change. And, we all know change is coming, but you are in your head, Libra. You are thinking of the worst case scenario. You have some fears about moving forward in a different direction. And that's probably why there's some confusion as to what to choose, right? You're kind of at a crossroads. And the Nine of Swords is about up in your head and just thinking the worst case scenario. And it's really going round and round and round. And that's exactly what the energy that we are going to be in this week astrologically. This full moon in Gemini, in a T-square to Neptune, opposite the sun. This is an energy and an environment where we can, on the lower end of the scale, the lower octave, the lower energy is about worry and thinking of the worst case scenario. And it's the monkey brain, right? So the higher octave is connecting with spirituality, with source energy, because the source has your back, right? Spirit has your back. The world is your oyster. You are being supported in doing something different, Libra. So get out of your head. This is just an illusion. It's fantasy. You know what they say? The past is a dream, the future is fantasy, and right now is a gift. That's why we call it the present. I know you've heard that too. I'm full of all these lying. Anyway, there you have it, Libra. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, social media, comment. I live for comments and feedback, and I always respond. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Mwah! I love you all, and I'll see you next week.